How to react when a former girl you've dated left you, then comes back after months.
Well, they typically always come back eventually. If you got a little piece of their heart and you made them feel love for you and really strong attraction, typically they'll come back. And so in these cases, what's usually happened for most guys' experiences, they like a girl and things go well at first, but as the weeks go by, like we were talking about in the other question, it's like they start to act dopey,
Hmm.
start to act like they don't belong there. They start to call too much, start to text too much. They try to be a little more forceful
Yeah.
on things, and it's like as you back away a little bit, they tend to pursue a little more. And what happens with these guys is eventually they end up getting dumped, and the woman's like, I just want to be friends, nothing more. I'm not interested in dating anymore.
Hmm.
And the guys don't stop, they keep persisting. And then eventually it usually leads to them being ghosted or even sometimes blocked.
Yeah.
And so the best, and then when guys have been blocked or they've been ghosted, that's when they're in a panic and they come across my videos and start reading my book and then start as they go through it, they realize all the mistakes they did and all the things that they in essence chased her
Hmm.
out of their life. They talked the woman out of liking them.
Yeah.
And so she's emotionally is at the place where she wants nothing to do with him at this point. She may have, blown him off because she met a guy who was more masculine and acted more manly.
Hmm.
And so she goes with him because he stimulates her emotionally more, whereas the other guy, just every time she interacts with him, she likes him less. She gets even more turned off to the point where she doesn't even respect him because she may do something to disrespect him or say something and he just puts up with it because he's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And then so eventually they realize that she doesn't want to talk to you anyways and is not replying to you. You got to walk away and never look back. You stop contacting her because in the extreme cases, the guys keep contacting until they get a restraining order against them when they just don't go away. That's
Yeah.
the worst part. And that's the last thing a guy should want to elicit in a woman is be so persistent, so obnoxious, and have just like no emotional intelligence that you're unaware that she's just trying to get away from you and yet you keep trying to keep her in your life. It's like you got to recognize that you never try to keep somebody that doesn't want to keep you. If she doesn't care, she's not going to reciprocate, then let her go find somebody better. Let her go find somebody that she really clicks with. And if she thinks some other dude that she's met because you in essence chased her away and she starts dating him and then you back off, what oftentimes happens is a few months later when it doesn't work out with the other guy for whatever the reason is,
Hmm.
she starts thinking about all the other male orbiters and all the other guys, and then she's like, I haven't heard from that dude Bob in a few months. I wonder what happened to him.
Hmm.
And then they reach back out and they're just like, hey, the most unoriginal pickup line ever, but since she's a cute girl and he likes her, what happens? He sets a date. You hang
Hmm.
out, you have fun, you hook up.
Yeah.
And that's typically what happens because I'd say probably 80% of the guys that come to me are in that kind of a situation where the girl is just like, I'm out. I don't, they've either gotten dumped, they got served divorce papers, they got friend zoned, they got ghosted, whatever it happens to be, and they're trying to figure out what the hell happened.
Right.
And so what you want to do is you want to prepare yourself. You want to become a better man, not only so you can potentially re-attract her, but you want to be attractive to women in general. So you'll have other choices. You'll have other options because oftentimes when a guy grows, when he comes across my book and he implements it, his confidence goes up,
Hmm.
and he's able to look at the last girl that blew him off, and he thinks, actually, the girls that I'm meeting today are prettier, they're better, they're easier going, easy to get along with, and especially as the longer the time period goes on, maybe it's 6 months or a year before she reaches back out. And what you want her to find is a completely different version of you that can't really figure out. There's
Right.
something about him. She doesn't know
Hmm.
what it is, can't put her finger on it. He's a little more mysterious. He's hard to figure out. He's unpredictable. And it stimulates the woman's emotions.
Hmm.
And so when you've gotten better because you've dated other women, you've applied the things that are in the book, and you get better at reading the situations and you become less needy, you become less forceful. And what happens is the woman starts to come back. She's already in chase mode in essence because she's pursuing you now. And if she's the one that blew you off and ghosted you or
Right.
pushed you away or dumped you or broke up with you, she's the one that wrecked it. So
Hmm.
therefore she has to fix it, just like I talk about in Seven Principles Get an Ex Back.
Hmm.
And so therefore she has to do 100% of the calling, texting, and pursuing from that point forward. And the guy just, whenever he hears from her, he makes the next date. And if
Yeah.
she comes over like 3 dates in a row to his house to make dinner and they hook up all 3 times, then he can meet her out and pick her up. But you got to let her do all the pursuing because that way it's her idea.
Yeah.
Where guys go wrong in those situations is they get together a couple times, then women inevitably always back off a little bit after a few weeks because it gets kind of intense
Mm-hmm.
and the feelings come back and the woman's like, oh, I feel kind of overwhelmed because I didn't think my feelings were going to go anywhere for you. I just figured it was just going to be friendship or platonic. And all of a sudden she's feeling all these feelings of attraction and it kind of freaks her out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so she needs time and space away from you to wonder about you and to think about you. And since you're letting her do all the pursuing, she just doesn't call you or text you for a few days.
Right.
And you just doing nothing, you're in action when you had chased her away and talked her out of your, of liking you in the past. Now her feelings start to bubble up. And then, all of a sudden you don't hear from her for 2 or 3 days. And then she reaches back out and she's all excited again.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just make the next date. And as the weeks go by, then she started, hey, where is this going? I was thinking maybe we could talk things out or
Yeah.
how you feeling? Things been going pretty good between us. And then she kind of starts bringing up the exclusivity talk and dancing around the subject. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when it's important to ask good quality questions and find out what she's thinking, what she's feeling.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes a guy will assume she wants to be serious or exclusive when she's not really ready.
Right.
And so it's good just to ask. Are you saying you want to be boyfriend, girlfriend? Or what are you
Mm-hmm.
saying? You want to be exclusive? Where are you coming from?
Yeah.
And then get her to tell you explicitly instead of assuming. Because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, when a guy assumes, he assumes the wrong thing.
Yeah. Like you don't want to rush her process, let her enjoy the time being. And then once it gets to the point where you see that she's kind of over that little talking stage, you'll know.
Yeah, she becomes nicer. She becomes more submissive. She becomes more flexible. She
Mm-hmm.
calls more. She texts more. She's happier. She smiles more.
Yeah.
It's easier to seduce her. There's like no roadblocks. It's just you get together, you hang out, you have fun, and she just lets you have your way with her. Whereas before,
Mm-hmm.
it was hard to even get her to commit to a date.
Right.
Whereas now, it's, especially as the weeks go by and you get a couple of months into it and you're doing things right, then it's like you can't, this girl that you were dying to spend time with, now it's almost like, you can't get rid of her because she is with you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you create the conditions because love is allowing after all.
Yeah.
So you allow her the space and the time and the freedom to slowly fall in love with you at her pace and you let her
Yeah.
come to you.
But I feel like some guys don't like it easy. Like once it becomes, maybe it's trauma, I don't know, but once it becomes normal and there's no issues and the girls wait, like just all about you, it's like kind of like a too good to be true moment where the guy just starts falling out of interest with her. Like, oh, it's not as exciting as before where she's like, I have to
Well, that's where
chase
it's
her.
important because where women get themselves into situations like that is they're all up in their feelings and their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And now what's going on is you're projecting your fantasy onto the guy and you're ignoring the fact that he's backing away and he's not reciprocating
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And then when you notice that, because obviously women can get a little annoying too. You guys can get a little clingy, and the guy's like, I got to go hang out with my friends. I got to see my mom. I got
Yeah.
to clean up my garage. I got to mow the lawn. I got to fix a leak in my roof or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, because when a woman's in love, she wants a guy's attention all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. It's like, oh, we got this, family that on the weekend, and we got this, we got that. Then it's like your life gets dominated, and then when he doesn't want to spend time with her because he's got something else, women typically get, oh, you never spend time with me,
Yeah.
and they get upset. And then slowly, what happens is, in order to appease her, to keep her from getting mad because he doesn't want to lose access to the box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop hanging out with that friend because she doesn't like him or she thinks I spend too much time with him, so I'll hang out with him less. I won't go see my mom as much because then she gets jealous and complains that I don't spend enough time with her and her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a couple of years go by and, you sold the car you were fixing up. You sold all your tools in your tool shed or maybe you had this, beautiful tool shed that you would make furniture. And now you haven't made anything in a year because she would yell at you and get mad at you for spending too much time in the wood shop.
Right.
So you stopped doing that, or you got rid of your Star Wars collection, or whatever it happens to be to please her.
Mm-hmm.
And guys end up finding that they, in essence, they don't even recognize themselves or their lives anymore because everything became about, I just don't want to piss my girlfriend off. I don't want to
Right.
piss my wife off.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got friends that are, they started out pretty alpha, and then after several decades, now it's like, I don't want to piss my wife off.
Right.
Let me run it by her. Because everything's like they want to keep the peace.
Mm-hmm. But there's no peace within himself if he's only trying to keep her peace.
And so that's part of acting like an equal as well, is that if you need time for yourself, if you've got things you need to handle, you need to go and handle those, even if she's upset. Because typically, women speak in exaggerated hyperbole. It's like, so everything's like, it's like an extreme. Like one of the memes that Jocelyn and I worked on together was a guy takes his girlfriend and blows 10 grand on a nice vacation, and then a week later she's going, "You never take me anywhere. We never do anything."
Mm-hmm.
And guys get mad and they get pissed off about that because they're like, "I just blew 10 grand on you, taking you a nice vacation, and now you're a week later telling me I never do anything." It's like, so the guy feels upset because he's not getting acknowledged for what he did and the money he spent.
Mm-hmm.
And all the woman's really just trying to say is, "Hey, take me out on a date.
Yeah.
Let's go do something." And the guys are like, "Well, why doesn't she just say that?" Because she's an emotional being. She's a woman.
Right.
She's feminine energy. She's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically saying, "Take me out and romance me." And so you don't
Right.
take it personally. You just, when you never take me, it's like, "Where do you want to go, babe?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What's on your
Mm-hmm.
mind? What are you
Mm-hmm.
excited about?"
Yeah.
And you get her to tell you. And then you just make it happen. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you got to go blow another 10 grand on her. It just means take her out and spend quality time with her. Because if she loves you, she's going to want all your time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you just went on an expensive vacation, had a great time the week before. All she's really saying, we were really close and things were really
Right.
amazing between us last weekend. And now it's like you're busy, I'm
Yeah.
busy,
She's on a
and
high, and now
yeah, you're
she's
not
like,
willing to make the same time for me this weekend that you were last weekend.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you did last week. It only matters that right now you're not giving me your presence and your time, and I want it.
Right.
And the way it's expressed, it's most women just don't understand that, but
Mm-hmm.
they speak in hyperbole.
Mm-hmm.
And guys will hear that and go, "Oh, who's going to hold women accountable? They should just say that then." It's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, that's not how they operate. And the bottom line is, the women aren't here asking for the advice. It's the dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so my job as a coach is to teach him how you guys operate, so he can get around the fact that she speaks like a normal woman and doesn't speak logically with reason in a way that makes sense to most men.
Right.
So that's why it's, if a guy wants to have good relationships with women in his life, he's got to understand how they operate.
And I feel like if the girl was too dominant, saying, "I want you to take me out. I need you to take me out. This weekend we're going here," it would be like her masculine coming
Yeah,
out.
you're like ordering us around like that.
Yeah.
That's not attractive.
You'll
We don't
get
want a
turned off.
boss girl. We want a woman who is a muse,
Right.
who is just like Gumby in
Mm-hmm.
hands, and
Mm-hmm.
like putty
Right.
in our hands, where she just submits and lets us have our way with her.
Mm-hmm. Just a easy peasy.
Yes. Because life is hard enough. You want to come home to the softness of your woman, because we're masculine. We got beards, we get stubble. It's like we're rough,
Yeah.
you know, stinky and kind of messy, and
All over the place.
it's, but women like that. They like that masculine type of presence, whereas we prefer the softness and the femininity. That's why the women that are the boss girls that are always ordering dudes around, it's like after a while you feel like you're in a relationship with another man who looks like a hot chick, basically. And after a while you start to resent it. You start to resent being bossed around and being told what to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not attractive. It, causes us to lose interest in sex. We talk a lot about what dries a woman up, and like drier in the desert, but like us guys too, it's like if a chick acts too masculine and bossy and not very feminine and girly, it's like we lose interest, we lose attraction. But if she's sweet and she's soft and she's easygoing and easy to get along with,
Mm-hmm.
then it makes us melt.
Right.
And we want to go out and do things and romance you and sweep you off your feet and beat up your pelvis and do all kinds of fun things
Mm-hmm.
inside and outside the bedroom.
Yeah, you want to have fun in your relationship. You want to feel like your childhood's like what's it called? Like you're really reliving your childhood, but with your best friend, which is your girlfriend or wife.